start by taking this opportunity. There's a couple of little things I just want to say that we've got about 6 gigs left on this tour, and the four of us were talking backstage, and I want to take this sort of speaking opportunity to thank a couple of people before we go on what's going to be kind of our first extended hiatus in about 17 years. Oh, you're pretty happy to see that we're gonna stop it. No, really, it's this is kind of a cool thing right now. Actually, you might have seen some cameras floating around. They're doing an internet feed from this show, so it's an opportunity for us to use this feed into the internet to kind of speak to you and all the other people who have supported us so much over the last 17 years via cyberspace and all that. So. Let me just say that it's what we're planning on doing so that you get the message clearly from us right here is taking some time and writing some music and kind of getting our home life back together, and then before we recharge, so we can hopefully get another 17 great years out of this before we fly. So, I will say this right now, just to all of you and all the people who have supported us and kind of given us this opportunity to have do what we do, and we do love it. Thank you all so much for everything that you've done for us, and we appreciate it so much. And I will do. Like I said, we have 6 shows left. We're going up the West Coast, and then we're going to go back home. I will take this opportunity to draw attention to our crew. We have, without exaggerating, the greatest crew ever assembled in the history of music. And I mean that. And this is a chance for them to take a little breather too as it's coming up. But I do want to, just from the 4 of us, thank them and just tell you, it's a lot goes into this. It's not just the 4 of us. It's a whole big family kind of team thing. So let's just have a hand for this, everybody on the crew, and thank you guys. Okay, that being said, what I wanted to do was tell you about this very strange dream that I had last night. And when I say last night, I mean, because of the fact we're in Vegas and everything, and I'm sure everybody's been up late, and I know we're all just waking up right now, so that's why we're just kind of getting going right now. We'll play a lot into the night. But I did have this dream last night, and it sort of related to this whole Colonel Foreman thing. And here's the dream. So I'm sitting in the middle of this field, and in my dream, and it's just clouds drifting by. It's a beautiful day, flowers, wildflowers and the whole thing. And what happened was suddenly I saw, it sort of in the periphery of my vision, people started walking towards me. First it seemed like 2 or 3 people over there, and then another 2 or 3 over there, until eventually I saw that there was a whole army of people surrounding in a big circle coming in, and they all came towards me in the middle, and everybody sat down, and what they did was they took this apple. One of the representatives of this group of people took an apple and handed it to me. Hang on, let's get a little apple field music. Yeah. So they hand me this apple and they say, what we want you to do is eat this apple that we're giving you as sort of a gift. So when I opened up my mouth to eat the apple, I realized that I had no teeth. So I couldn't eat the apple. In the dream, I suddenly started to feel a strange sensation in my upper gum. And what happened was one giant tooth grew out of my upper gum until I had a huge, enormous tooth sticking out of my mouth. And I tried to eat the apple. What I found was that you can't eat an apple with one tooth. And so there I was in the field, and I started to get really nervous in my dream that the people would be disappointed that I wasn't eating the apple because I only had one tooth. And there was a moment of real panic in the dream. And what happened was, luckily, at that moment, the Earth flew closer to the sun than it had ever been before in the history of time. Being that we were sitting on the Earth, this had a big effect on us. And in flying close to the sun, my first thought was that, oh no, the Earth is going to burn up and that's going to be the end of everything. But instead of that happening, what happened was that the Earth acted in the way that a grape acts when it hit with a lot of sunlight. It basically shriveled and turned into a raisin version of the Earth. And so the whole horizon kind of collapsed in on itself until all of the ground wrinkled up, and these wrinkles were basically created sort of mountainsides sitting around, all this field of people, and we all got crushed together into a big pile. And like I said, only moments before I had been sort of panicking that I was supposed to eat this apple, and that I couldn't because I had my one big tooth. But in being crushed together in a big pile, I found that when the Earth became a raisin, all of my senses became much more vivid. In the way that a raisin is more intense tasting than a grape, everything on Earth became more vivid. So suddenly colors were incredibly vivid, sounds, emotions, love, and just as the Earth was becoming a much more rich and vivid place, I found myself in this pile of people, sitting in between two wrinkles in the raisin that was now the Earth. And what happened is it just became a huge pile of a big groping pile of love in my dream, and slithering groping pile of goo. And it was at that moment that I realized that Gamehenge is a state of mind. You don't have to really get there physically. So what I did at that point was I decided that everybody in the whole universe needed to know about how simple it was to suddenly turn yourself into a big seething pile of goo. And so I called on the famous Mockingbird, my friend, whispered this secret into his ear, and sent him out across the universe to spread the word of planets turning into raisins and goo.